Hello, sir.
How are you, Pranav?
All good, sir. All good. So, which band are we covering today?
Yeah, today we are covering the man who wrote a song about war at a time when the country was going to war. The Vietnam War, no less. We are talking about Bruce Springsteen, man.
2, 1, and we are rolling.
Born down in a dead man's town, the first kick I took was when I hit the ground. You end up like a dog that's been beat too much till you spend half your life just covering up. I was born in the USA. I went down to see my VA man. He said, "Son, don't you understand? I was born in the USA. I'm a cool rockin' daddy in the USA." He said. It was. A lot of politicians were tempted to use this song as campaign songs for their electioneering, so to speak, because they thought this was all about eulogizing America. But it was actually a severe indictment of the war. It was a keening statement, a frustrated, keening statement of a man who could only sing about a fact that was burning him from the inside. And that's why Bruce Springsteen is so great. That's why we're talking about him on the second song. The thing is, Bruce Springsteen wrote this one after he'd got out Born to Run, after everyone had started speaking of him as a generational talent, so to speak. And then he got out Born in the USA. Spoke about the Vietnam War, spoke about how veterans were being, they were being ill-treated. He also stood up for it. If memory serves me right, it was Ronald Reagan who used this song for his campaign, and at that point of time, he was arguably the most popular man in America. And Bruce Springsteen stood up and said, "No, I will not allow you to use my song for political expediency." And he made them take that song down, not use it in their presidential campaign. And that's what Bruce Springsteen is. He wrote, on the one hand, there was Born in the USA. On the other, of course, Fat Man sitting on a little stool takes the money from my hands while his eyes take a walk all over you. Hands me the tickets, whispers good luck, smiles and whispers good luck. Well, cuddle up, angel, cuddle up, my little dove. We will ride down, baby, into this tunnel of love. It was a love song called Tunnel of Love, but there's some incredible life analogies. There's a crazy mirror shown us both in 5D. I'm laughing at you, you're laughing at me. There's a room of shadows that gets so dark, brother. It's easy for two people to lose each other in this tunnel of love. Or to be easy, or to be simple enough. Man meets woman and they fall in love, but the house is haunted and the ride gets rough. You got to learn to live if you want to rise above, if you want to ride down into this tunnel of love. There was a fascinating song that should have been more popular than it was. It was called 57 Channels and Nothing On. It was about how we are being inundated with entertainment. And so inundated that the whole thing about entertainment fatigue that people are talking about, he sang about it. And at the turn of the century, that too. Wrote a song for Streets of Philadelphia, which was about gay love when it was firmly behind the closet. Almost retired. 2611 happened. He was stopped by a man and said, who looked at him beseechingly and said, "We need you. We need you." And that's when he came back. At the age of 70, he sold out a stadium in his name, and within minutes, at some of the highest ticket rates. But he brought them down for those who were fans. That's what Bruce Springsteen is. A blue collar phenomenon, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't heard his music, if you haven't heard uh, the elegance of simplicity in his music, it's incredible. There's also a fantastic story about Courtney Cox, in case you're a Friends fan. Um, uh, Dancing in the Dark, one of his biggest hits. In the video, he's dancing, and in the middle of the video, he seemingly randomly goes and picks out a girl from the crowd and starts to dance. That was Courtney Cox. Yeah, the same one in Friends. And a generation was heartbroken. They were like, "Oh man, we could also be this." And then they realized that it was all staged. But none of his career is staged, actually. He was asked how, at the age of 70, he can still carry on making this absolutely fantastic music that he does. And he says, "I'm 70. I fear that if I stop, I might not be able to start again. I don't know how long I will go on. So I keep going on. I don't stop. And if ever there was a life lesson to learn, I think that is what it is. Also, a shout out, of course, to the E Street Band, the band that made his music sound so much more teeth clenching. Steve Van Zandt, the venerable Steve Van Zandt, Big Steve on the guitar, and Max Weinberg, if you remember Jay Leno, yeah, he was the band leader as well. And he would take breaks to go on Bruce Springsteen's tours. Max Weinberg, Steve Van Zandt, Bruce Springsteen. Music from a time when those who were talented enough and privileged enough understood the responsibility and took pains to sort of try and fulfill it, which is heartwarming. And that is why on the second song, we thought we'd tell you the story of Bruce Springsteen. If it was interesting, please like, subscribe, comment. Sarthak from Radio is my Instagram ID in case you'd like to follow. It'd be wonderful. But thank you for the indulgence. Thank you for watching.
94.3 Radio 1.